Located on the North Olympic Peninsula of Washington State sits the small coastal community known as Sequim. Nestled in the heart of that community is the Northwest Raptor and Wildlife Center, a nonprofit organization devoted to rehabilitating and caring for injured, orphaned, abandoned, or permanently incapacitated wildlife. The vision and passion behind the Northwest Raptor and Wildlife Center was formed over 30 years ago through its dedicated director, wildlife advocate and raptor expert, Jay Moore.
I've always had lots of pets, pet birds, pet dogs, cats, chickens, rabbits, everything. There was a small center that opened up in Clallam Bay, and I started spending all my time there with 2 little girls in tow, and we'd go there and work a few hours every day, and the love just kept getting bigger and bigger. The center that had opened up out in Clallam Bay, the gal got really sick, and I was licensed. And so instead of everything euthanized or passed to other raptor centers, the state approached me and asked if I would take it over. And we were right in the middle of a move from Clallam Bay to Sequim. So I decided, looked like the Beverly Hillbillies moving. All the different animals and things came with us, and we started building, he and I, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger until we are what we are now.
The work that Jay does at the Northwest Raptor and Wildlife Center is not a solo effort. The entire staff, including Jay, are dedicated, unpaid volunteers who together are bound by a threefold mission to rescue, rehabilitate, and release injured wildlife, present environmental educational programs using live birds of prey, and conduct public outreach to individuals and organizations with the intent to foster wildlife appreciation in order to conserve it.
You know, I think what she does, it's morning, noon, or night. If someone calls of an injured animal, doesn't matter what it is, she'll go out and get it. Not only getting the animals, but she has been injured by these animals. She had an eagle talon her across the head, and she still stuck with it. She still rescued the eagle and brought it in. She's had eagles talon her in the arms, and there's nothing she won't do for these animals.
These animals wouldn't exist, these birds would not exist without her. She has put so much into this. Well, she's been doing it for 30 years now.
A lot of places would either put the bird down or not even deal with it if it got hurt or whatever, where she takes the time to rehabilitate and spend the love and the time with them.
She's doing what everybody else would just look at an animal and think, oh, well, it's time to go. But she doesn't take that line down. She genuinely helps them.
I just love the critters. I really love what they give me. You know, we release them, and that's the pay, because none of us get paid for this. It's all strictly volunteer, as am I. And when you take something that's been horribly hurt, and it's usually by humans, gunshot, something, and you can fix it and release it back into the wild, there's no other feeling. You know, part of me goes with every one of them, and that's the pay. It's just so neat.
Jay is a community champion because she made this her life. She's been doing it 30 plus years, and if it wasn't for her, these animals wouldn't be able to recover and be set free again.
I think Jay's a community champion by the fact that she goes out of her way to do what she believes is right and follow her heart instead of whatever else society or the community or whoever wants.
Some people have come here to do community service, and she doesn't question why they're here. She doesn't care why they're here. She lets them do their work, and a lot of times people who are finished with community service keep coming. because of what Jay does for them.
She does put out a lot into the community. Everybody is so proud of this place.
She does it because she loves it, you know? It's part of who she is, and she spent her life bringing animals home like a lot of people maybe do. I did when I was a kid, you know, tried to rescue different things and save them, and it's not about publicity or about renown. It's about doing what her heart's telling her to do, you know, and she has a way with animals that most people never get to find in themselves, so.
Jay continues to do this work because the love she has for these animals.
Because she loves it. That's why she continues to do it.
Seeing her handle some of these birds and around them, you can just tell there's nothing but just caring for these animals, just a straight up love for them.
Years and years ago, I was called to an area where there was an eagle that had swooped down, grabbed a duck, and went to leave with the duck and hit an electric fence. So when I got there, the people were arguing. We called Jay, and I said, I am Jay. They were looking for a male. So I went over to grab the bird out of the fence, and the electric fence was still on. So I got a little bit of the shock. They turned the fence off, and we brought him here. I was really sore and tender from the electricity, so I knew what he was going through. So for days, I'd come out and hand feed him, and he'd allow it. Well, it finally came time to release him. We released him on the 4th of July.
I just saw the radiation. Today, as the Martins looked on, Jay Moore carried the eagle to the very same spot and opened the cage door. One whiff of freedom, and the eagle was gone.
Whoa! All right. Yeah. There he goes. A lot of people were there, the papers and everything, and we released him. A few weeks later, I was out mowing the yard, and my husband was waving at me, and I'm waving back, thinking, what's wrong with him? And I felt this touch on my head, and looked up, and it was the eagle had come back and touched on the head. So they had a nest right over here off of Priest Road for years. That finally fell down in the snow and the wind, and they rebuilt on a condo on the Dungeness River. It's beautiful.
As with every labor of love, there are bound to be setbacks and sad tales. After releasing the eagle, Jay eventually had to come to terms with his death.
I was called to a field not far from here. An eagle was down, and he was in a territorial fight, defending his territory, and he was killed. And that just broke my heart. And that's what hurts so bad, and I think that keeps me going so much, is to make right some of the things that people have done wrong to these critters, to try to make it a little more, you know, livable and friendly. And I don't know, after being with them, my heart just goes with them. I just love them all. Even after getting injured so many times myself by these, but it's not their fault.
She's a kind person. Just, I couldn't say enough good about this woman. And sometimes I wish I was more like her.